welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of the Auto Experience series, our series where we review various automobiles. Today we are piloting a 2019 Lexus RX 350. The RX, tried and true, obviously a perennial segment leader for sales, not just for Lexus, which it is their best-selling vehicle, but for that luxury medium-sized SUV segment that it falls into. Today what we want to do is test this vehicle and find out what really puts it there, what makes this thing a regular bestseller, in the sense that it really sells a ton of volume compared to Lexus's other vehicles. And Lexus sells quite a bit of vehicles. The RX actually represents, last year anyway, 40% of all Lexus sales. And that is just outrageous to me. That's all their cars, all their SUVs. Everything with a Lexus badge sold last year, 40% of those cars were an RX. Now the RX is modernly available with quite a few different trim levels and packages. You can get the base level RX 350 with the V6 and front wheel drive. You can get all wheel drive added to that package. You can get a hybrid system added to that package. You can get an RX L, which is a longer, I think it's 4 inches longer wheelbase, with most of that room occurring in the back seat area. I'm also leaving out the F Sport. The F Sport has some suspension tuning, some interesting seats, some exterior changes, a little more aggressive styling. So yeah, the RX really has a pretty broad range now that they sell so many of them. This is a 2019. This is the 4th generation of the RX. So that's right. It's been around here in the States since model year 1998. And I actually do like those early RXs with their cute little bubble butts. And who isn't a fan of a cute little bubble butt? So it's always been a popular vehicle here, always been a good seller, but this is the 4th generation, like we said. It started in the year 2016, so any RX you buy 2016 model year or newer will be this style. A new model is rolling out next year, so it will change a bit. Kind of excited to see what they do with that. The RX, well, we all know that Lexus is Toyota's luxury division. That's not trivia. For any of you folks following along at home, you guys already know this. What's interesting is to see how they share the platform with Toyota on various vehicles. The ES being a Camry, the RAV4 switching into an NX for Lexus, the 4Runner becomes the GX, and the veritable Land Cruiser becomes the LX. And that leaves the RX, which is really a Highlander in a suit. So that's pretty cool. This V6, the 3.5 liter, what a great power plant. We do have 295 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque, I believe it is. So good numbers. This engine's been around for a while. Lexus is really getting their money out of it, and it's, you know, stuffed in everything, and it was back in the day. So great power plant, good numbers for a V6, and this thing certainly scoots. Obviously doing the acceleration test, traction is your limiting factor. A lot of horsepower, front-wheel drive, and a good amount of weight really causes that weight to shift back when you're launching. But why? Why the RX? That's the history lesson. But why is the RX such a good seller? There's so many crossovers. We all just want and need crossovers in our lives. I don't know, I think a lot of factors boil into this. It's the size of the RX. It's not massive, it's not a lumbering SUV, but it's also not minuscule. It doesn't fall in the same size category as the CR-V or RAV4, so it's kind of like this happy medium spot. I think a lot of people gravitate towards that. It's easy to drive, easy to park, but also big enough to have enough space inside to haul people and gear. So it's like that happy compromise. And handling wise, it pays off too. This thing being basically a front wheel drive platform is pretty nimble. Turn in pretty quick for an SUV or crossover or whatever the hell we're calling this thing. Put it in sport mode in the mountains here. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a convergence of qualities that people really look after in a vehicle. It looks good too. I think in the sea of crossovers, this design still stands out pretty well. Pontiac sells this. I think it still looks good. It's super angular, super aggressive, still looks modern. Lexus interiors are my favorite, almost in every segment. They just really tie it together. And we're, of course, going to look at all those details. We're also going to take this thing and shake it down for some acceleration tests, because I think it scoots pretty fast, guys. So we'll do a 0 to 60 in the quarter-mile pull. But yeah, I'm super excited to be driving this car. It is definitely not at home in the canyons here, but it's not falling on its face. So there's that. But what a great vehicle. And guys, throughout this experience, we're going to find out how the RX has remained a segment leader and a Lexus top seller for so long. On to the objective tests. We've got the RX 350 up on the scales. Let's go ahead and get that curb weight and front and rear balance. At over 4,200 pounds, the RX 350 is not a light vehicle by any stretch, but having front wheel drive on this particular model does save us some pounds. With a nearly 59-41 front rear split for the Lexus RX, nothing really exceptional to see here. It's a standard front engine front wheel drive vehicle. I'm painfully aware that the Lexus RX is not a sporting vehicle, but I will verify under this video's oath that it certainly holds its own when moderately hustled. Turn-in was surprisingly sharp, and the body doesn't pitch and roll nearly as much as I thought it would. It's a heavy, pretty powerful front-wheel drive vehicle, so wheel spin is easily summoned on overly enthusiastic launches. It's a solid handler for being a point A to point B people hauler. On the task of people hauling, the RX provides a very compliant and smooth ride that allows you to really eat up mile after mile, making it a great commute/road trip vehicle option. The RX exterior. I really found the Lexus Hourglass/Predator grille to be quite offensive at first, but that contention is somewhat dulled over time. It fits the RX better than some of the other Lexus models and complements the other sharp dynamic edges found all over the vehicle. Speaking of sharp edges, they can be found at the lights, the rear, the front, the mirrors, yeah, basically everywhere. One of my favorite touches is the hidden rear window on this model. I do feel like Lexus, Toyota kind of kicked off this super angular design trend and have really mainstreamed it. It can be found just about everywhere nowadays. I can really get with some Lexus interior. I find them to be some of the best across all segments. Materials tend to be of high quality and also look great. Interior design is not offensive, but also not boring. Everything is logically located, and ease of operation is nearly unrivaled. Sure, some will complain about the touchpad, switch dial thingy they keep reinventing every couple years, but it works. The tacked-on nav screen tablet is my least favorite touch, but who isn't doing this today? It's a small mark against a near-perfect interior. Powering the RX 350 is a 3.5-liter dual overhead cam V6, producing 295 horsepower and 268 pound-feet of torque. This engine has been utilized across the Lexus lineup for some years now and has a proven track record of reliability and solid performance. Power delivery is smooth and consistent throughout the entire rev range. Next year, for the model year 2023, we will see a turbocharged 4-cylinder take its place, but for the meantime, the V6 very much gets the job done. Still averaging 25 miles per gallon mixed, not too shabby for that power output. Delivering the power to the front wheels on this example is an 8-speed automatic transmission. I felt the transmission hunting around for gears in the canyons in normal mode, but sport mode cleared that right up, allowing you to hold on to revs much longer. In normal driving, I found the shifts to be exceptionally smooth, as any good auto gearbox should be.
Concerning the drive mode selector, I would leave it in normal for most driving, as that is where you get the best fuel economy and mix of driving characteristics. Eco mode just felt too sluggish and unresponsive to me. Why the sales success for the Lexus RX? As stated in the intro, the Lexus RX is a sales juggernaut for Lexus, accounting for 40% of the company's sales last year. This wasn't a statistical fluke either, as the RX has been a top seller and segment success story for nearly its entire existence. But why? Why is the RX such a successful vehicle? I personally believe this is highly attributable to its convergence of many successful parts. Driving-wise, the RX has solid acceleration and capable handling, especially for its size, which also places it in a very sweet spot of not too large and not too cramped, just right. The interior is standard Lexus fare, which is to say, it's fantastic and livable. A wonderful layout and quality materials do not disappoint. The exterior styling, especially in this 4th gen example, still looks bold and modern. Statistically, the RX has no exceptional characteristics, but also makes no compromises. The longevity of its sales success is well earned, as it is truly a deserving vehicle for this title. Ask any of its many owners.